Hi, Fionnuala. How are you today?
I am great, Janie. How about you?
Pretty good. It's a beautiful day here at Cottage Gardens of Petaluma. We have no fog,
I
which is
know.
exciting.
It's been so nice these last couple of days, and
So
it
beautiful.
makes you want to talk about tomatoes.
Tomatoes. So we already did a video on your favorite tomatoes, right?
Yep.
Remind us real quick, some of your favorite tomatoes. I know Snow White was one of them.
Snow White was one, Black Quinn is another. Love those black ones. Another favorite of mine is Paul Robeson with Cherokee Purple. You can't not
Good.
grow Cherokee Purple.
Yes.
There's another favorite that I didn't talk about last time, and that's Bloody Butcher.
Bloody Butcher.
I love the name for a start.
That's over here, right?
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh,
I
yes,
know.
the name is fun. Absolutely. Now, these I see, these are indeterminate, so these are going to get pretty big, right?
They get pretty big, but they're incredibly productive of larger tomatoes than what you would normally associate with an indeterminate. And they're the roundest tomatoes you've ever
Oh,
seen.
how fun.
They're just incredible, and they're early, and they're tasty.
Fun.
And
Good ones.
yeah, and
So,
it's got that heirloom flavor without the heirloom fussiness, which is that's a big deal for people.
yeah.
You know,
that's
people
huge.
love brandy wine, but it doesn't always do great around here. Our summers aren't quite long enough. So one of the things about growing tomatoes is picking a variety that does well in your area.
Okay.
Just ask for help if you need it. But our summers the last couple of years have not been that hot and warm in a continuous basis. We've had fog, we've had just like rain at unexpected times. It's been not what we've come to expect our summers to be. So you got to roll with that. And I find an awful lot of the early ones or the Russian ones or the Czech ones seem to do really, really great no matter what the summer's like.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
so by early ones, you mean ones that down here on your cards, it says like 55 days.
Exactly.
So the smaller the number, the
55 days is exceptionally early.
Oh,
Anything
okay.
up to like 70 days, I think you're going to be pretty okay around here. Maybe over in your area, you get longer, hotter summers. You might be able to push it a bit better.
Okay.
But that's what works in this whole North Bay, Sonoma, Marin.
Yeah.
And that's really who I talk to more than anybody.
With the ocean influence that we get here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the
definitely.
possible fog for days on end.
Yeah.
And you still want tomatoes, whether it's
Right.
foggy or not, you still can get them. Yeah.
So speaking of difficulty with weather, can you tell us about your history with tomatoes back in Ireland?
Oh, yeah, I'd be happy to. Well, I was raised in Ireland, and my dad was a determined gardener, always determined to push the limits of wherever we are. So picture Little Dublin Garden in the 70s. The weather was not conducive to growing tomatoes, but he built a little lean-to and a greenhouse, and he grew tomatoes.
He was determined.
He was determined, and
Love it.
I don't even know where he got the seeds, probably from a tomato from the store.
Right.
Yeah, because it was just, you wouldn't even do that. And he planted them and tended to them and had strings going to the ceiling and took foliage off, did all sorts of magic to this tomato plant and grew tomatoes in a little
amazing.
garden that was a lot of shade in
Yeah.
Dublin. Yeah.
That's incredible. You know,
Yeah.
to think about the weather in Dublin, right? Yeah, like growing tomatoes, what as compared to here, where we
Yes.
can grow tomatoes pretty much anywhere
Our
in
challenges
California.
are really not that great
Yes.
comparatively. Exactly. But I still remember the taste of that tomato when finally it was time to harvest it. It was a pretty big deal. And he brings these couple of tomatoes into the kitchen, makes us all come and look. And you know, I was 11 or something, and I probably wasn't as dramatically enthusiastic as I should have been, but I really love that taste, and that taste stuck with me.
Aw.
Nothing like a fresh homegrown tomato.
Yes.
There is really nothing like it. You can't compare it to anything you can get in the store.
So that experience as an 11-year-old eating a homegrown tomato,
Yeah.
do you think that's where your obsession with tomatoes came from?
It certainly really, really started it.
Yeah.
Because I still lived there and went through my teenage years there, moved to California when I was 24, and that was when I grew my own first homegrown tomato in California And my goodness, that was a balcony tomato. And it's amazing. You can grow produce on a balcony. As long as you have some sunshine and determination, you can pretty much grow what you want where you want.
Yeah. You
You
don't have to
know,
have a huge garden. You
no.
can do it. You can go get one of these tomato plants from here,
Yeah.
a pot, some soil, and
Mm-hmm.
go for it.
Exactly. So that brings me to get the right tomato for your particular situation.
Okay.
You know, don't go, if you have a balcony garden and you really don't have much sunshine, don't go for an indeterminate that wants to be 8 feet tall
Okay.
and that needs a ton of sun.
So explain to us exactly what an indeterminate. So what are the categories? There's indeterminate, there's determinate,
There's
and
semi-determinate
oh, okay.
when it's kind of halfway
Half
between the
and
two.
half. So
Yeah.
what makes an indeterminate tomato?
Indeterminate, they also call vining tomatoes, even though they don't actually vine, but they just keep getting bigger, 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 bigger.
Okay.
And they produce tomatoes right from the get-go, right until the frost hits it.
Okay.
So you can plant your sun gold or your snow white, start getting tomatoes in June or July even, and still get tomatoes all the way to November or even December sometimes.
Okay. So you're going to get all season long tomatoes
Yeah.
with an indeterminate plant.
Exactly.
But you're going to have a massive plant.
Yeah, you're going to have a massive plant and you need way more than a balcony for most of those, unless you're incredibly creative, which I do have customers who are incredibly
Fun.
creative.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, that's that determination thing.
So tell me about determinate.
Determinate tends to produce, it doesn't produce all its fruit all at once, but that's what the books say.
Okay.
So you're going to get the fruit produced over 4 to 5 to 6 weeks, and then the plant starts declining and looking horrible, and you just pull it out.
Okay.
A lot of the paste tomatoes are like that, which is okay if you're growing a paste tomato.
What is a paste tomato?
Oh, there's the ones you turn into sauce. They're the ones in the cans, the Italian tomatoes,
Oh, got
the
it.
Romas, the Amish paste.
Okay.
So think about that. You actually want that to happen. You want to get all your tomatoes all at once
Because you
you're
only
going
want to can it one
Yes,
time.
exactly.
Got it.
You
Got
don't want to
it.
be doing a little canning in July, a little more in August.
Yeah.
You know.
That'll just waste your time.
Yeah.
Right. So choosing the right type of tomato plant is key.
Yes.
So when would you use a semi-determinate?
I think semi-determinate is it's a fantastic tomato, and they don't know what it produces its fruit over a longer period, doesn't decline. I think it's really a classification thing that nobody quite knows what to say about this
Nobody
one.
could figure out the name for
Yeah,
it.
yeah. They're just like, yeah, I don't know what this is.
Let's
So,
call it
yeah.
semi.
Yeah, it's like I can't figure it out. It's been 5 whole years and I
Let's
don't
call
know.
it semi.
Yeah.
So, okay, so say I want to plant a tomato, indeterminate or determinate. What's the best location in my garden? Here in Petaluma, say I'm coming here to Cottage Gardens, Petaluma, and I live in the Bay, North Bay. Where in the garden would I plant it? Would it be full sun?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you want full sun for tomatoes.
Okay.
The more sun, the better. You get better fruit, better. First of all, you get better pollination, which
Okay.
is where it all starts. You're not going to get pollination if it's in a little bit of a shady spot.
Okay.
The pollinators don't find it as easy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you want that blossom to be warm, to exude the scent that it's going to exude so the pollinators can
I've
find it.
never heard that, Fionuala.
Yeah.
I've learned something new today.
All
Thank
makes
you.
sense, doesn't it?
It definitely does. Yeah. Okay, so full sun so the pollinators can come, and that, I mean, we need pollinators, right?
We
so
do.
Maybe,
Yeah.
do you plant other companion plants with your tomatoes? Do you believe in that?
I believe in it and I believe it works. You've seen my garden.
Yeah.
I have plenty of things already doing it, but I do think it's a good idea to put marigolds and nasturtiums out there too. And, you know, there's a lot of really great reasons to do it.
Okay.
I think I've got the companion planting figured out at my house pretty much. But I don't hardly ever have to do anything deliberate,
Okay.
you know.
So marigolds and nasturtiums are the typical companion planting for tomatoes.
I think
right?
they're really good plants to have in your vegetable garden anyway for almost anything else you're going to grow out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus they're both edible, so you can use them.
Okay.
You can add those petals
can
to
just
any salad.
Put them in your salad with your tomatoes that you've grown.
Exactly. The other reason full sun is a really good thing for tomatoes. They are tropical. They want the heat. They want heat.
Okay.
The tropical plants that love the heat. You put them in some shade, they're not getting the heat that they want.
Uh-huh.
So it adds to that also, makes a bigger, stronger, sturdier, greener, healthier plant.
Okay. Can we ever get too hot for tomatoes?
Yes.
Okay,
I
what
was
is too
getting
hot?
to that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can get too hot. I mean, it's kind of hard to say. We tend to not get too hot
Here in
here
Petaluma.
unless there's a heat wave in July when the fruit is nice and big and juicy. You can actually cook the poor tomato.
Oh.
Generally, we don't get too hot except for those heat waves. So keep your eye on the weather. If there's a big blazing heat wave coming up, try to shade those tomatoes.
Okay, good tip.
Yeah.
So you've picked out your tomato, you've taken it home, you've picked out a nice, beautiful full sun spot,
Yeah.
and now we have to plant them. Any tips for planting tomatoes?
Yes. Tomatoes really appreciate being planted deep because they'll send out little roots all the way along their stem. So you're going to want to plant it nice and deep. I would probably plant this tomato all the way up to there.
Really?
And you take off those leaves and you plant it nice and deep.
Okay.
Picture your plant being nice and tall, your indeterminate plant being big and tall on a windy day. The more stability it's got is really great. But not only that, all those roots are going to be able to take up even more nutrients. So you got more nutrients taking up more roots taking up more nutrients, which those tomatoes need.
Right.
They're annual plants that do a ton of growing in 1 year, 1 season, and a ton of production in 1 season. So the more nutrients it can take up, the healthier the plant, the better the production.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with more nutrients, is fertilizing tomatoes a good thing or no?
I always think start your plant off with really good, rich, healthy soil.
Okay.
Yeah, and dig a nice deep hole, put a bucket, not a bucket, put a shovel full of compost in the bottom.
Okay.
There is this cute little tip that I do sometimes, and you put a half a banana in there.
Half a banana.
It's potassium.
Okay.
I just like it because I like putting a half a banana down there.
You feel special putting half a banana.
Yeah. Some people say fish heads, but I seldom have fish
no.
heads lying around.
Ew,
but
no. No.
I do have half bananas lying around.
No fish heads, people.
Yeah, no fish heads. So then that's the thing. That's
Yeah.
what I've been doing, and it's because it's fun and it's a little tradition at this point. And as that banana breaks down, it does release potassium.
Oh, how cute. I'm
And
going
you
to try
can-
that.
It feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How fun. So do you fertilize throughout the season after the banana?
After you've started with your really nice rich soil, that you've got compost and good rich soil, and your banana, you start letting it grow. And I usually do give it a side dressing of fertilizer a couple of times during the year.
Okay.
And I'm very, very partial to E.B. Stone's organic tomato and vegetable food.
Okay.
Organic always. When
Yeah.
it's edible, just go organic.
Yeah.
It's
Makes more sense.
no point not.
You don't want to be eating all the chemicals.
You don't want to find out in a year or two that you really made a mistake. you know? So yeah, I love going organic.
Okay.
And
Do you have the E.B. Stone here?
Yes, we
Okay.
sell it here.
Okay, good.
And it's a powdered substance that has a natural time release aspect to it, which is great. So you do that every couple of months, for all of their products. For tomatoes, I would do it after it's been in about a month. I would give it a side dressing
Okay.
and then watch its progress. Always side dress on both sides, not just like one side.
Not just throw
That's
it.
the thing.
Don't be lazy.
Yeah, you want all the roots going over there. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
How do you know how I fertilize?
hey, because we
all do it.
yeah, I know.
All right. So planting deep, choosing the right tomato first off, planting in full sun,
Yep.
planting deep,
Yep.
using some good compost and a half a banana, which is it a banana peel or actually a banana?
It's supposed to be just the banana peel, but I always just do the half
I
of it.
love it.
Yeah, the
I'm
tips
going
that
to
said
do the
banana
same
peel.
thing.
I'm like, well, surely the whole banana is going to help.
It's going to be that much better, right?
Exactly.
And then fertilizing about once a month?
Probably a month after you've planted it, when you see that it's doing really well and it's already pushed out a lot of growth, do a side dressing at
Okay.
that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we talk about watering?
Yes, I love to talk about watering in tomatoes. A lot of people tend to water too much,
Oh.
and you do not need to.
Oh.
You don't need to. Another thing, when you've planted really deep, you've got roots way down there with access to water further down than if you planted it really short. This is, of course, for everybody who's planted in the ground. Container growing is a different thing. That's a whole different subject.
Because
we can talk
containers are
about.
going to dry out quicker.
containers dry out quicker, your plant is being held hostage in that container.
Yeah.
Can't put roots out any further than that container.
Okay.
So you do have to take special care of a
Okay.
container grown tomato. But don't overwater your tomato. Blossom end rot is caused more often by overwatering your tomato than the calcium deficiency
So
that
tell me
everybody worries about.
Tell me, blossom end rot is
When you've got your beautiful tomato and the bottom half of it is black.
okay.
It's where the blossom would have been. It's very literal. It's the blossom end of the tomato starts rotting.
Okay.
It's really from inconsistent watering
Oh.
rather than overwatering right from the get-go. But it's something to be really aware of.
Okay.
Oh, another thing right at the beginning, I should have mentioned this, is eggshells. You can crush up eggshells, throw that in the hole too.
With the half a banana.
Yeah, with
All
half
right.
banana. It's like a whole recipe.
It's like a compost pile.
Yeah, exactly. Mini compost pile in there.
Okay, so I've heard that the eggshells help with blossom end rot.
It does because it's a calcium.
Okay.
But there's scientific studies saying that the plant can't even take up the calcium if it's being overwatered or inconsistently watered.
Oh.
So there is definitely a link, but by itself the calcium is not really the problem. It's linked with the watering.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So do you hook it up to drip to avoid that? How do you avoid that?
Yeah, the problem with just hooking it up to drip is the weather can change so much that what you're using the drip on may not be enough. If suddenly we get a week or two of 85 degrees here in Petaluma, is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
If that all of a sudden happens. So it's a really good idea to go out and watch your plants. Don't just plant and go away for 3 months and expect good results at the end of it, even with the drip system.
Okay.
Drips can break, gophers can chew through them,
Yeah.
the emitter can fall off, all sorts of things can happen. Or you can be hit with an unexpected heat wave where your plant will need more water,
Okay.
or you can be hit with 2 months of fog where you need to take that water off.
Do you guys grow tomatoes here at the garden center?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
We're about to start our garden today. We're getting it cleared and ready, and I'm going to plant later on today.
Fun.
I
So if
know.
everybody comes in, they can see the tomatoes growing.
Yeah,
How fun.
I know.
Well, Fionuala, thank you so much for taking us through tomatoes. These are good tips, and I can't believe how many tomatoes you have here. It's absolutely incredible.
Which one do you want to take home?
I don't know. I'm kind of liking the bumblebee, just the name, Purple
Exactly.
Bumblebee.
Exactly.
Right? It's so fun. You got to do a fun name. So for all of you around here and even not around here and want to get your tomatoes, come to Cottage Gardens of Petaluma. Fionuala and her team, her staff will be here to answer any questions.
Yes, we will.
Thank you, Fionuala.
Thank you, Janie.